Good morning, students. We are continue with separation of mixture. So we are continuing it. In first video, we understand how can we separate solid from solid, and we have learned there are three methods for the separation of solid from solid. First one is by using the suitable solvent. If you know which substance is soluble in which solvent, we can use this method, and it based on the principle that different substances have different solubilities in different solvents. Second method we can use for separating the solid from solid is by using a magnet. If one of the substance in this solid is a magnetic substance like iron, so we can use a magnet for separating them. Third one is a sublimation, the process of sublimation, in which the one of the substance should be a sublime. It means in which a substance directly converting to the vapors state before going through the liquid state. So these are the three methods we use for separating the solid from solid. And in case of solid and liquid, so in second video I explained to you how can we separate the solid and liquid, the mixture of solid and liquid. So in this part, in the previous lecture I explained to you we can use the different technique for separating the solid from liquid. The first one I explained you, we can use a method of filtration. We can use the process of filtration for separating the solid from liquid. Second, I explained you we can use the method of evaporation. By evaporating the liquid, we can get the solid back. And the third method I explained you is the method of crystallization, in which I explained you how can we obtain the crystals of a solid. This is a better method than the evaporation, because in crystallization we get the pure substance. Impurities left behind the solution. So one more method, one more method I explained you is the centrifugation. So we have studied all these four methods in previous video, that is filtration, centrifugation, and evaporation and crystallization. Now in this part of video we will understand how can we separate the solid from liquid by using the chromatography. This is totally new for you. So what is chromatography? Actually chromatography is a technique of separating two or the more dissolved solids which are present in a solution. So if you want to separate two solids from a liquid, then we can use this method of chromatography for separating them. A simplest chromatography is the paper chromatography. So in our syllabus we have paper chromatography. So we will understand what is paper chromatography. So according the name suggests, as the name suggests, according to this name, it should be related to some paper. Yeah, it is. Paper chromatography is in which we use a paper. Actually it is called the filter paper we use for this technique. But the principle of the paper chromatography is that the two or the more substances are soluble in the same solvent, like two substances can be soluble in water, but their solubilities can be different. It based on the principle. Okay, I'm going to write the principle which we used for using this chromatography. It is that though two or more substances are soluble in a same solvent, it means both are soluble in the same solvent, like both are dissolved in water, soluble in same solvent, but their solubilities may be different. So I am giving you one example for this solubility, for understanding this line that their solubilities may be different. This is not related to chromatography, but for explaining the term that their solubilities may be different. Suppose you have a 1 tablespoonful of sugar and 1 tablespoonful of salt, and you are going to dissolve it into a water. Then which will dissolve faster in a water? Obviously it will be salt. It means salt is more soluble in water as compared to the sugar. So it means the different substance had different solubilities. Some substance dissolve much faster as compared to the other one. And this is the principle behind this chromatography. So now we will understand what is a paper chromatography. So we will do an activity. Actually, I'm not doing this activity on this paper, but I'm going to explain you the activity. You can do this activity at your home. Seriously, you can do this activity at your home. And in case of any problem, if you're not getting what I'm telling you, how can we do this activity, you can ask me in your Zoom class. Just try this activity at your home. First, we will take a paper. You can take a paper strip like paper strip of a rough paper. You know, the rough paper means the paper, the notebook, some notebooks having the paper like the rough paper, yellow pages type, like the newspaper papers. So take a filter. Actually, we use the filter paper for this technique, but at home we don't have filter paper. So if you want to do this practical at your home, then you can use a rough paper, the yellow pages paper. Okay, and then what we have to do? First, take a strip of this paper. Okay, and make a mark by pencil on it about 3 centimeter above the borderline, like this. And suppose you want to separate the ink of a pen, like a black ink. You know, the black ink is the mixture of several dyes. Black ink is the mixture of lots of color. So we can separate the different colors of the black ink by using the paper chromatography. So drop the ink over this paper on this line, like this. So first what will you do? You make a strip of a paper, of the rough paper, and make a line over it with the pencil and drop ink and ink on it, like this. After that, you have to take a jar. Since you don't have a jar at your home, so you can use a glass, a glass tumbler, and place something on it, like you can use a pencil here, and put this paper, hang on this pencil, like this. It means you can stick this paper on this pencil by using the sellotape. So what will we do? We have to attach this paper on this pencil with the help of a cello paper. A paper having the dot black mark. Okay, before placing this paper in this jar or the glass tumbler, place some water in it, and then you will hang this paper in this jar or beaker or the glass tumbler, like that. This dot should not be there in the water. It should be above the water. The water level should be lower, should be there below this dot line. Okay. Now leave it for some time, but you have to watch it. Okay. Then leave it for some time. This is actually, in practicals we use the glass rod. So since you don't have the glass rod at your home, so you can use a pencil here. And this is the filter paper. So at home we don't have the filter paper, so we can use a rough paper for this practical at home, for this activity. Now this is the black ink. Now watch it carefully. Different color, we use a different color for making the black ink. Different colors had different solubilities. Few colors can be soluble as faster as compared to the other one. Like, for example, red, like the red color dissolve faster as compared to the blue. Dissolve faster, I'm writing like this. Red is more soluble as compared to blue, and blue is more soluble as compared to green. Then what will happen? From this dot, the red color, which is more soluble in water, will dissolve first. Okay, just one more thing I have to explain to you, that when we place this paper in this jar, in this glass tumbler, what will happen? You can watch it carefully. The water will start moving towards towards the strip. It will move. The water will gradually rise up into this paper. Why? Due to the capillary reaction. You know the capillary reaction. Capillary means capillaries are the very fine tubes having the very small radius of the diameter, in which the gravity do not work. So due to this capillary reaction, the water gradually start rising up into the paper. And when the water gradually rising into the paper, the color which is more soluble in water dissolve first into the water, and which is less soluble in water will dissolve after that. So it means from this black dye, the red color, since it is more soluble in water, it will dissolve first and it will move towards the height with water. But the blue color, which is less soluble than the red color, what will happen to it? It will dissolve little later. So after a few minutes, it can be the time, it depends on your paper actually. So after some times you will saw that this is strip which we place in the paper in this water. This black ink gets separated. The dyes of the black ink get separated. It means the color which is more soluble we found at the top of the filter paper or the paper. So carefully watch this. Do not let this water go out through this paper. मतलब यहाँ तक मत पहुँचने देना, उससे पहले इसको निकाल लेना. So it will be red, which is more soluble, and the other color which will be here below this red dot, because this is less soluble as compared to the red one, and which is very rarely soluble into the water, like the green color. We get the dot behind the blue one. So this is the paper chromatography. You can do it at your home, and in case of any doubt, any problem, you are not getting how can we done it, how can we do this practical, then you can ask me at your Zoom class. So this is all about the paper chromatography. So in our syllabus we have only the one chromatography, that is the paper chromatography, and again we have a lot of applications of this chromatography. Application of chromatography, not only the paper chromatography, I am telling you the applications of chromatography. So first again let me tell you that the principle of chromatography is, though two or the more substances are soluble in the same solvent, but their solubilities may be different. So on this principle this chromatography is based. Now what are the different applications of the chromatography? First one, it is used to separate the solution of colored substance like the dyes and the pigment. Like this, we can separate out different colors of the dye by using this technique. So for separating, it is used for separating different color of dye. Okay. Second one, it is used in forensic science for detecting the poison in the bladder, stomach. So it is used in forensic science to detect the identity trace amount of poison. Or other substance, poisons in stomach or bladder. Third one, it is used to separate small amount of products of chemical reaction. Okay, so these are some applications of chromatography. So we have learned about chromatography, we have studied about the chromatography, and in our syllabus we have only the one chromatography, that is paper chromatography. And how can we do this practical, this activity at home, and these are the different applications of chromatography. Now we will understand how can we separate a solid from a liquid, and we'll also want to restore the liquid. Okay, in case of evaporation, we know that in evaporation all the liquids get evaporated, so we don't get liquid back. So for getting the liquid back, we can use the method of distillation. So another method for separating the solid from the liquid is distillation. Distillation can be of two types. It can be a simple distillation or can be a fractional distillation. So now in part of separation of the solid from liquid, we will study about the only simple distillation, and in part in which we study about the separation of liquid from liquid, we will study the fractional distillation. If we obtain salt from the water, that is we have a mixture of salt and water, and we want to obtain salt from water, what can we do? We can evaporate this mixture. But when we evaporate it, what happen? This all water get evaporated and we get only salt. It means we can't recover water by the using of evaporation. So distillation is the method in which we can get salt as well as water. It means we can recover water from the mixture. So distillation, just write down the definition for the distillation. Distillation okay, distillation is the process of heating a liquid to form vapor and then cooling it and then cooling the vapor to get back liquid. So actually what we do in the process of distillation, we vaporize this liquid. It means we heat the liquid so that it convert into the vapors form by heating. At its boiling point, at the boiling point of the liquid get evaporated, get converted into the vapors form. So by heating the liquid, we get vapors of that liquid, vapors, or we can say gas. And if we cool these vapors, we can get this liquid back. So this is the method, it's called the distillation, and the liquid we obtained after condensing this vapor is called the distillate. The liquid we obtained by condensing the vapors is called distillate. Okay, and okay, one more thing I want to explain you, that what is a condenser. Actually in this process of distillation we use we can say an apparatus is called the condenser. So condenser we have this is suppose this is a glass tube, and we have a glass jacket over it. When we pass water from this outer jacket, this is a hollow tube, and around the hollow tube there is a jacket like a structure like this. This is also made up of glass. So when we pass water from this outer jacket, what happened? The vapors which are coming into this hollow tube get condensed, and so that we can get the liquid back by using a vapors, by using this condenser. So we can get liquid by vapors by using this condenser. So this is a condenser. This is the inlet of the condenser in which we can flow the cold water, and this is the outlet of the conductor from which when the vapors passes from this hollow tube, it get condensed from this cold water, and when it get condensed we can get the vapors in the form of liquid here. And this hot water which becomes hot after passing through it, we can remove this water from this outlet. So this is a condenser. Now the process of distillation is based on the principle that if we heat the solid as well as the liquid, then we know that a solid has a very high boiling point, whereas liquid have low boiling point. Or we can say the solid is non-volatile, whereas the liquids are volatile in nature. So on this property, on this this is the basis, we can say that this is the principle for distillation. So we use the process of distillation for removing the liquid from solid. Yeah, we can say the solid from liquid. So now I'm going to explain you the process of distillation. I'm taking one example. Suppose we have a mixture of salt and water, and when we want to we want to separate the salt as well as the water from each other. Then in distillation process we use a round bottom flask. This is a round bottom flask which is rounded from the bottom like this. This is also called the distillation flask. This is the distillation flask. Distillation flask. And in the distillation flask, we pour a mixture of salt and water. Now for heating purpose, we use a burner. You can say the Bunsen burner. This is the burner. With the help of this burner, we can heat the liquid. And we also use a tripod stand here. So this is the wire gauge, or we can say the tripod stand as well as the wire gauge here. So we are heating this mixture of salt and water with the help of this burner. At the top of this round bottom flask, or we can say the distillation flask, we have a thermometer. This is a thermometer. Okay. So when we heat this mixture, what happens? The salt which have the very high melting point do not convert into the vapors form, whereas the water has the low boiling point and it convert into vapors. This is the tube B. When the water get converted into the vapors, these vapors can comes out from this side tube. This side tube is connected with the condenser. This is the condenser. So this vapors passes through the condenser. So this is the hollow tube like this. Okay, this is a glass tube, and around this glass tube we have a jacket like structure like this. So this is the outer jacket on this condenser. Okay, so when this liquid, this water converted to the vapors, it passes through this condenser. When it passes through the condenser, since this condenser had water all around it, and this is the cold water, so it condenses the vapors here. This condenser, this cold water condenses the vapors which are coming from this hollow tube. And after condensation, we get the water here in this beaker. We can collect this water here in this beaker, and this is called the distilled water. This is the distilled water, and this is the condenser. We can say this is the inlet, water inlet, through which we can pass the cold water, water inlet, and this is the water outlet. Okay, it behave like a coolant. It means its function is to condense the gases, condense the vapors which are coming in this hollow tube. So we can collect the distilled water here, and the salt will be left behind in this round bottom flask. So this is the apparatus of this is the process of distillation, and this is the apparatus we use for the process of distillation, in which we need a distillation flask, we need a burner, a thermometer, a condenser, and a beaker in which we can collect the distilled water. So this is the method for separating the solid from a liquid, in which we can obtain solid as well as the liquid back. So these are the different methods which we use for separating the solid from the liquid. We have a study about evaporation, we have a study about evaporation, crystallization, and what was the different method, centrifugation, and this is distillation, chromatography. So we have 6 methods for separation we use for the separation of solid from liquid. Now in next video we will understand how can we separate liquid from liquid. So I just want to give you overview of separation of liquid from liquid. We have we use 2 methods for the separation of liquid from liquid. If you want to separate liquid from liquid, we can use 2 methods, which is based on the principle that the liquid can be soluble in each other or it can be insoluble. It means if 2 liquids are soluble in each other, it is called the miscible liquids. The liquids which can dissolve into each other is called the miscible liquids. Miscible liquids means the liquids which can mix with one another. We cannot separate out in which we cannot separate out one liquid from another. It means it don't have any separation boundary. Like you mix alcohol with water. So when we mix alcohol with water, there is no boundary in between alcohol and the water. They mix with each other. This is called the miscible liquids. And second is the immiscible liquids. Immiscible liquids. Immiscible liquids are those which do not mix with each other. Like if we add oil into the water, what will happen? We will get a separate boundary of water as well as oil. So these are the 2 liquids can be miscible or it can be immiscible. So on this basis we can use 2 different methods. For the liquids which are immiscible with each other, we do not get mixed with each other, we use a separating funnel. Separating funnel is look like this. So in separating funnel we pour the mixture of the liquid in liquid, and since we know that both of the liquids are immiscible with each other, so they will have some separate boundary. Like this is the boundary of the 2 liquids. By opening this stopcock, we can get the liquid, we can separate these liquid with each other. And the other method for use which is used for separation of the miscible liquids is the fractional distillation. So another method we use for separating the liquid from liquid is the fractional distillation. So today we understand how can we separate solid from liquid by using the distillation process. Or in next video we will understand how can we separate the liquid from liquid by using the fractional distillation method. Actually, we use this method only for those liquid which having the difference between their boiling point is below or equal to or near about 20 degrees Celsius. So okay, we will continue it in next video. Till then, bye.